Just before we start with my interpretation of this practical exercise, I just wanted to say that I will be using a few techniques in my solution that you haven't covered yet. That's not important. The whole point of this exercise is to get you using the workflow, so creating slides and then adding animations and transitions, just to get you started, because we've only just scratched the surface. We're going to go into a lot more detail, and everything that I do in this demonstration that you haven't seen before, by the end of this course you'll know exactly what I was doing and it will all be second nature. In this practice exercise I gave you some information about dogs, divided into two sections really, food and exercise, and I asked you to create a short presentation to present that information. How did you get on with it? Hopefully you managed that without any problems, but I'm going to go through it quickly here and show you my solution. Before I start though, I want to make one thing clear. I am not trying to create a great slide presentation here. Quite the opposite, in fact. I'm going to create a very simple presentation, just like 99.9% of the population would, and I'm going to introduce some design issues or problems or things that are considered bad design. Now you may spot them as we go through, you may not, but we will be coming back to this. Let's get on with it. The very first thing I asked you to do was to create a new PowerPoint presentation, go across to the Design tab and choose a theme and a variant. And for my theme I'm going to choose this one. And the variant, well, okay, the first part of this then is to create the cover slide, and I suggested you create the cover slide using the title of the project, and that is looking after your dog. I'm also going to add in a little bit of subtitle, just for a little bit of interest. Food and exercise requirements, that's basically what this presentation is going to be about. And then I'm going to go and insert a text box down here, and I'm going to put my name, and we'll also put in a date. Now this isn't the actual date, but we'll just put that in there for the sake of it. Now this is a presentation about dogs, so why don't we insert a picture of a dog. Go over to pictures, stock images. I'm going to search for dog, and I think we'll choose this one. That's going to be imported. I want to get rid of the background, so let's just remove background, and it hasn't done a particularly good job, so I'm going to mark areas to keep. Okay, that will do. Keep changes, and then I'm going to resize it a little bit, put the dog over in the corner, and I'm going to send it to the back so that the text is on top, but even then it's not very visible, so let's move the text. Oops, that's the wrong one, that's the dog. Okay, so there's a cover slide. The next thing I asked you to do was to create two more slides, so let's create one and use those two slides for the information. Now for this slide I'm going to change the layout. I want something a little bit plain. In fact, let's have a blank one, and then I can add my own elements to it. And for these slides I'm going to just copy the text that is in that Word document or that PDF document that you would have downloaded. So let's add a text box. Going to use this one for the title. Let's increase the size, drag that out a little bit. Okay, exercise requirements. Then I'm going to insert another text box, use my quick access toolbar, paste in the details of the dogs. I can increase the size of that text as well. And then I want to add one more bit of information at the bottom, so let's add another text box, paste this in, and I can stretch this out a little bit. Okay, that's going to be the first slide. In terms of animations, what I'm going to do is going to select the first text box, and I'm going to say let's have this zoom, and we'll have it zooming by paragraph. And then for this one down here, I'm going to, let's say, wipe from the left, and again I'm going to do it by paragraph. So there's my first slide. I'm going to create another slide for the rest of the information, and to do that I'm going to just duplicate this one, and then I can go in and edit. So the title at the top, dog food requirements. Let's come down to the main text. I'm going to select all of that and delete it and paste in the text that I want. Now this is too big, so let's go and make it smaller until I can work out what size we need it. This bottom one down here I'm going to delete altogether so I can get rid of that. Let's move this in place and we'll make it as big as possible. Okay, that'll do. And then for animations, let's have a wipe, and by paragraph, wiping from the left. Alright, so there's my presentation. Cover slide, first slide of information, second slide of information. The last thing I asked you to do was to present it. So let's just have a quick look through this one. I'm going to open it and run it in a browser so that it can be fit into this video window, and then run from the beginning. That's the first slide, introducing the talk. Let's move to the next one. Oh, I forgot one thing. I haven't done any transitions. Let's just go in, and first transition, I'm going to use a fade, and in fact I'm going to use a fade for the second one as well, because the fade is actually my favorite transition. It's very plain, very elegant. Right, so first mouse click loads the second slide with the title. That's quite good. Then next mouse click, we get the Lhasa Apso, 30 to 60 minutes a day. Next mouse click, Yorkshire Terrier. Next mouse click, Beagle. Next mouse click, Cocker Spaniel. Next mouse click, Border Collie. Then don't forget, try to walk your dog at least twice a day. Click again, and always clean up after your dog. Click again, we should fade to the next one, dog food requirements. Click again, first paragraph comes in. Click again, next paragraph, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. So that's the presentation complete. It looks okay, but there are a lot of problems with it. You may have spotted some issues, and I'm not talking about spelling or grammar. I'm talking about design issues, things that make a slide presentation boring, things that you should be avoiding in your own presentations. You may have spotted them, you may not, but in the next section of the course we're going to go through good slide design and look at the things you need to avoid in your slide presentations.